Good evening, everyone. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Ooh, 1 second. Something's gonna happen to this live streaming right now. Here we go. All right. Yeah, I got a message like we need to shut down your streaming, but luckily I canceled it. All right, folks. How y'all doing this evening? This is Yusuf Chowdhury once again, tuning in live from San Antonio, Texas. It is 5:59 p.m. Central Time. Wazif, what's going on? Good evening. How are ya? Good to see you. Okay, folks. Got questions? Got questions? Ask me about digital marketing. So go ahead and ask. Okay. I am going to, excuse me. 1 second, doing good, great. So no question yet? Are you serious? Okay. All right, so let me just share something before I wait on any questions. Let me talk about how to manage your social media marketing. Okay. So let's say if you've been running your company for a while and you've been doing social media, you are getting some result, but not, what's the specific topic today? So topic today, same thing like every single day, and that is, you got question on digital marketing, ask me. But what I'm going to talk about today is how to take some of the analytical data from your social channels and how to go back, understand it, and remarket it. So today, I had a meeting with my client and his amazing team of media people, marketing directors, creative. And we sat down basically trying to figure out that, first of all, this specific business has several locations throughout the United States. They do have several, social media platforms, and they wanted to basically enhance their social media presence and, of course, get in more targeted audience back to the site, right? So what we basically did, and this is something I would like to share with everybody right now. So when it comes to an existing social media account that you've been running for quite some time, right? If you got some result and you want to improve it, that's one point. Or you did everything, but for some reason you're not getting the point, or you're not getting the result that you want. So the first question that we need to ask ourselves, like, what is the purpose of putting your content or building an awareness through the social channel, right? Like, what is the main purpose? Is it just for brand awareness, or is it to collect leads, or is it just to waste time? You know what I mean? So you have to have those information written first. The first question is, what the heck is it for, right? What is it for? Because this is very common mistake where so many small businesses, when they get into the social media, all they do, they throw up stuff. What I mean by that, they just promote. They just promote, right? Promotion over promotion. Buy my stuff, buy our services, but never something that actually will benefit to the target audience. Now, if you compare yourself with the big companies, there's no comparison. You have to look at yourself as a small business and how can you take your social channels to the next level. You know what I mean? So the first question is, ask yourself why I'm using the social media channel. Like, what is it for? Like, what I'm trying to gain from it. If my objective is to build the brand awareness, collect targeted leads and followers, and convert them into paying customers or buying customers, right? So that should be your metrics. That should be your measurement ways of calculating what you need to do. Okay, so just make sure of that, because sometimes we get lost, right? We get lost in the works of just making things look super nice and fancy, but super nice and fancy and having too many views, too many followers, that doesn't create any type of engagement or valuable engagement or some type of follow up with the having the customer follow up with you. If it doesn't generate any kind of conversion, it is a complete waste of time. You know what I mean? So that is not going to work. So that's why sometimes I don't get impressed by looking at the numbers, but when I look at the engagement, of there is no private messages or sending message to the messenger app, and it's really, it didn't fulfill its purpose. You know what I mean? I hope you understand what I mean. Okay. So have a clear objective plan. Why do you want to use the social media channels, and what for, and how you are going to invest the money and the time to convert all this effort into a customers that's going to buy from you a product or service. Okay, always think about that. So when you do the measurement, I gotta see if there's any conversion, right? Having just followers and laughing at pictures and videos is not, if it doesn't convert, it doesn't do anything. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? Are you serious? Okay. So that's the first concept. So the first thing we talked about is, okay, how can we take these promotional material was going out. They were good. They were doing something, but we want to improve or enhance, right, to get better result. So the first thing you have to do, if you're already established in terms of having the social channels, so the first thing you have to do is look at the analytics. I know there's so many resources that talks about what is the best time to post. I actually don't agree with most of those resources, because based on our actual tests, on our actual businesses that we've been managing for our clients, they actually differ in terms of the niche, in terms of the location, what kind of audience they have, and so forth, right? So the first thing is, if you have multiple social media channels, so the first thing you have to do before you implement any new plan is to go back to the analytics and look and see the time when you notice the highest activity or peak of activity, where the content can be viewed for more than like 10, 4,000, 1,000, 3,000 eyeballs. They can actually see it. So look at the timing. So if you post it like around 7 a.m., but you notice that the most of the eyeballs or activities or engagement or visibility happens, let's say around noon, then now you have a number to follow through, right? Because you're not assuming, you're not doing things based on emotion and feelings. Feelings don't care about these sort of things. You got to be realistic and use logic and use data to implement your strategy based on some sort of data. Just like in math, 2 plus 2 equals to 4. You cannot say 2 plus feeling not good equals to success. That doesn't happen in real world, right? So keep the feeling aside and focus on the logic and the number. So the first thing you have to do, you analyze your, let's say, Facebook analytics, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube, or Pinterest. If you have multiple locations, go back and look and see how the audience are behaving, right? Look at the reach of the post. Look at how many reach of the audience. Look at the time, and also look at the type of the post that created more engagement, whether it's images or videos or regular text or or just external text or whatnot. Make sense? So what you do, the first thing you do, you go to all your social media channels, look at the analytics. If you have a third-party tool like Buffer App or Hootsuite, you can also utilize those. Do the study the analytics, and find out, right? Find out the time, where most eyeballs looks at it, like the eyeballs, right, looks at it, and what kind of post, in terms of the format, like, Dane, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Hey, Yusuf, I have a major question for you. Please go ahead and ask. Okay. So you look at the analytics for the timing, which time there were a lot of activities, and also the days, which days has a lot of conversation. Because if the weekend, the viewership is low, you don't have to put anything there. Okay, so look at the days, look at the time, look at the post, type of post, and based on this information, come with a plan. Let's see, I need to make a nationwide pest control site. Okay, keep going. Okay. Does that make sense? So does that make sense? So that's the first step, to look at the analytics of your social channels. Why? Because you're not assuming things. If you're a beginner, it's different. If you're fresh, off the boat, FOB, fresh off the boat, right? If you're completely brand new, then that's a different story. But since you have the data, why don't you utilize the data to implement it back so you don't have to reinvent the wheel? Make sense? Okay? So the first thing, look at the analytics of your social channels and get those data. Okay? All right. The next thing, your website. The next thing is website. So I was thinking best pest control service near me.com. Well, the problem with that domain, it's too long, right? It is too long, which means when you create the social channels, you cannot have that on Twitter. You can have it on Facebook, but you cannot have it on Twitter. You cannot put it on the business card or the flyers. So that's the first problem. And secondly, a keyword-based domain actually has no value from my understanding. From our experience, it doesn't matter anymore. I know some people use that because thinking like, oh, okay, if I have the domain name on the keyword as a domain, it can help, but technically it doesn't. Number three, if that's the name of your business, then yeah. But if that's not the name of your business, then I wouldn't recommend that. Now, what time I can recommend that domain, Dane? I would say if you have a landing page that you want to run an ad within Bing, within Facebook, within Google Ads, then you can definitely use a domain like that for a landing page that has the same ad copy, but not for the website. Make sense? But I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to use that keyword-based domain to see if anybody searches it on different location and it will show up. But guess what? With Google's algorithm, a lot of these content right now are based on the geolocation. So for whoever is looking for pest control businesses in that location, Google's going to show that specific Google-based My Business page first, and also the website for that location. So if I'm looking for you in a different state, it might not show up. But there are other ways to help you or to help anybody that want to dominate nationwide. That requires an extensive, heavy search engine optimization work, which consists of heavy content, heavy distribution, content analysis, and link building. So that's going to be super expensive. Okay, so that's the only way that we can basically do, or we can recommend. Okay, going back to the subject about how to implement the social media strategy for an existing account, the first thing I said, run an analytics on your social media channels. If you have multiple locations, run it for every channel. Be in the habit of studying the data. Okay, it's kind of crazy when I see some businesses that you have all this information and nobody wants to use it. I'm like, really? Are you serious? Right? So you have to have those information because those information will benefit you, not just in the present, but also in the future. Okay? I know I'm repeating myself because I want you to all to understand this. Run the analysis on your social channels. Now, the second step is look at the analytics on your existing website. Okay? Existing website. So you can look at your Google Analytics. You can look at your Google Search Console, because the Search Console will show you how many times the website showed up, or how many times the website showed up on Google search and how many clicks you got. But the analytics will show you the top pages that your existing audience already looking for, right? So you have a 10 top pages that you existing audience looking for. So you're going to take that data. You can also see the majority of the traffic comes from the mobile device. That means when I build or make a social media post, it has to be easily readable on the mobile devices. Okay? So when you make a post, an image, you don't want to make a small font, okay? Or something that's not easy to read. So you're using this existing data to put it back with an enhanced content because the audience is already there. Let's go ahead and show them something more super amazing so that we can give them more value. We can have an impact with this value. Make sense? So you look at Google Search Console. You look at Google Analytics. Look for the top pages. Look for the top blog sites, blog pages. Look at if it's a desktop percentage with the mobile device, because you do have to make content that can work very well on the mobile device as well if the traffic is coming from the mobile device. You know what I mean? Okay? So that was step number 2. Step number 3, you can utilize other content research tools. Like, for example, you can use Google, you can use keyword everywhere. You can also use answer the public. And why is that? So when you go to Google, you can just open the search box and type, let's say, real estate. So Google going to give you the auto complete, which is the keyword. Then you can also look at the people also ask on the bottom. Then on the way on the bottom, you can look for related searches. Now, if you add a Chrome extension or a Firefox extension called keywordseverywhere.com, that tool will give you more options, more kind of questions, and relevant keywords within the search terms that you're using. Okay, that's number 3 in terms of using the tools. Now, Answer the Public is amazing because in Answer the Public, if you put any subject, any niche topic, Answer the Public basically will grab all the popular questions from Google search and will tell you what kind of question people ask. So now you can use these questions to use it as a social media post because people are looking for information in terms of why, where, and how, and when, and what type of questions, right? So now you have a plethora of humongous, right, of information that you can start strategizing of how you're going to put these material. My recommendation is when it comes to social media marketing is that maybe spend like 70 to 80% on education and 20 to 30% on promotion. Okay? So now you have enough content, enough ideas in order for you to test it and put it out there. So you can come with like, Monday motivation, Tuesday tips, Wednesday workout, Thursday throwback, Friday get your free content. Did I say that? Okay. So, but you get the idea. You can do it every day, right? You can do 7 days, one post a day. So you can use the analytics to see exactly now how are the engagement doing? Is it improving? Am I getting more followers? Am I getting more conversation, more commenting, more sharing, more questioning? Are people sending private messages to this Facebook Messenger, right? So utilize this Answer the Public, keywords everywhere, and Google itself. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, if you have access to some type of analytical tools like SEO tools, which I have, I use Ahrefs and SEMrush. So when I use SEMrush, I can plug in my client's website and it can pull all the popular backlinks that they were getting. So now I can look at all these backlinks, see where it came from, and when we do the social media post, we can do a shout out or we can tag them so we can have some sort of cross promotion back and forth because they already give us a shout out on their site. So you can look at the backlinks. Okay. Once we looked at the Google Analytics, once we looked at the social media analytics, we found out that people, for example, were asking for reviews for the company. People were asking for the name of the agents of the company. And people were also looking for a specific topic within the website. And those topics were exactly what Google Analytics showed us, like in terms of popularity. So now the team's going to make this awesome creative that matches the brand color, the palette, and whatnot. But now they're going to post educational material based on this research, right? The 4th step is, beside using the SEO analytical tools like the SEMrush and Ahrefs to look for new keywords and backlinks and whatnot, the 4th or the 5th step going to be now we can look at the competitor and analyze them to see what are the most popular pages within their website. What's the most popular keywords that brought to their website and onto which page, and what are the backlinks that they were getting. So now we can do this resources and analysis so we can understand how the audience for this particular client that I'm helping also helping the competitor, so we can use the same research material and start coming up with a plan and schedule all this content within the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and whatnot, right? So now you have a calendar for the whole month. Make sense? And based on this research, based on this data that you analyze and you collected from your own website, from your own social channels, and by analyzing your competitor and their traffic and ranking and keyword and backlinks, and same thing with yours, now you have a plethora, a glory of information that you can organize it and post it for the sake of educating the target audience, give them something of awesome value, and at the same time, using some technique to make them engage, because the social media's algorithm is all about engagement. So when social media algorithm says engagement, what do they mean by that? What do they mean by that? What do they mean by that? Means the commenting, sharing, and liking, right? Those are the metrics for making their algorithm valuable. Okay. So now you're going to use the third-party tools like Buffer app, for example, or Hootsuite. You can use the third-party tools. You can schedule all this content on the several channels because you don't want to do it every single day. Then track the effort on a weekly basis, see what is working and not just what is working, but which one actually bringing the engagement and which one are helping us organically to have that conversation and conversion. Because the most important thing is that if there's no conversion from your effort for almost a year, it's pointless. Okay, it means nothing. So don't let the numbers deceive you, because sometimes, unfortunately, human being nowadays in a sometimes materialistic society, we look at the look of things, but we never realize what's in the background, right? So looks can always be deceiving, but look at the numbers, look at what really converts. Now, one of the questions that the team asked me, like, are there any other ways for us to increase the engagement? So the idea that they came up with was about question-based posts, right? And reviews, posts about the positive reviews that the client gave the company, and also putting a post about agent of the week and how this individual agent can be contacted. And there's some other cool ideas they're working on right now. They're in the brainstorming is done, but now it's the execution, right? So some of the ideas when it comes to how can I increase the engagement, right? Some of these techniques is very old and it still works. So if you can use a post like, for example, fill in the blank type of post, right? Or if you have a funny picture and you can put a comment on the picture that says, photo caption or caption this photo. You can also make a statement like, you make a statement and say, is this true or false, right? You can also share like, recent industry news. You can remind the followers of your social channels about online events, for example. You can share motivational, inspirational quote that it's part of your niche, that can reflect your niche or the industry. You can share something like, fun facts or surveys or all these funny memes or meme. You know what I mean? I'm like the king of meme, right? So these are some of the ideas that can actually help you on how to increase that engagement, but you have to be also strategic. How do you want the engagement to help you with conversion? So if you put in your head, whatever I do on the social media channel, I want to convert those interaction. That should be your main goal. Because if you just put content for the sake of putting content, then you're no different than that crazy gerbil just running over and over and over without any result. Just like they say that if you want to do the same exact thing for life and expecting for different result, I think that's what they said. Somebody said, you're not going to do anything. Okay? So these are some of the awesome ideas that we kind of worked on and we talked about it today, and with this amazing team that I am helping and consulting. And it's so good to work with different teams, especially when you have a marketing director and the creatives and the media. And sometimes if you are being expert for years, sometimes we have to humble ourselves and listen to their feedback, right? But at the same time, if you're in charge, you got to step on your foot and tell them, yo, do it this way. Okay? All right, folks, 6:22 p.m. Central Time. Do you have any questions? Please do let me know. This is what I want to share today. It was a very fun work to see how when people come together and work on a project, especially when everybody on the same page or trying to be on the same page. Emily, thank you for liking the video. I highly appreciate it. Websites FX, thank you for sharing the video. I really appreciate it. If y'all enjoyed watching this live streaming, why don't you do me a favor by tagging some of your cool colleagues, okay? Invite them or share this, okay? All right, let's see. Do we have any more questions? Do we have any more questions? Okay, just give me a minute. Let me show you. Let me show you some of the some of the tools that you can use to listen to the conversation of your competitors on the social channel. So there's one tool that one of my colleagues share right now that I'm very excited to test. Let me show you guys. It's called Niche Fire. Niche Fire. So check out this tool right here, Niche Fire. So what it does, I mean, you can put any of your competitors' information, and it will give me what type of post they have, what type of post is working, how successful they are. So this will give me some idea by looking at some of my competitors. You see what I'm saying? So if I can see that certain things is working and how they're posting it and what they're posting it, I can replicate something similar for my business. So this is a good tool to have. My colleague showed me, and I was very impressed. And I'm getting the access to basically check out and utilize this because it's super, super cool. Look at the smarter competitive analysis with a CompuSci artificial intelligence. Okay, so this is one of the tools you can utilize to basically listen to the conversation of your own brand to see how many people are talking about you and how they're sharing it and whatnot with your so-called hashtag. Or you can also look at some of your competitors and see how they're doing. Okay, because as I mentioned before, analytics is so important. And data is so important because the strategy that you are putting in place is not based on feelings. Okay, it's not based on what you think is right or wrong. It's based on how your audience are behaving. Now, there's another tool if you want to track some of your posts. So let's say some of your social media posts, you have some sort of links that goes to specific pages, and you want to make sure that if people clicked on it or not. If you have a regular organic post, like with a text and an image, and there's a link on the text, let's say that specific post got like 100 views, 20 comments, 5 shares, but still you want to know if anybody clicked on the link. Of course, most people going to use Bitly, but this awesome service right here, you can make links for any link you want, and it has its own analytics and tracking and also monitoring. So this is an awesome service that I highly recommend that you all need to double check. It's called the Click Meter. You can run this, what do you call it, traffic or link click traffic analysis for links that you can use it on your social channels, on your online ads, or through your email marketing. Okay, so check out Click Meter, and don't forget to look into Niche Fire. These are some of the tools that can definitely help you enhance your social media, because you don't want to end up you don't want to end up putting stuff for the sake of putting, right? You don't want to just pump content, like spamming the social media just because somebody said like we just need to pump, right? Yes, we need to put content there, but it has to be targeted to the audience, right? And it has to be valuable to the audience. Otherwise, you're going to just end up, spamming, okay? And you don't want to do that. Let's see. All right, so any more questions? Any more questions? No? Okay. Just to remind you guys, when is this? When is this? I think it's next Tuesday. So I'm going to be a guest on this podcast right here. An Investor's Journey presents Tips from the Pros live. I'll be the guest. The topics will cover difference between marketing and branding, which platform should we be using, how to set up a great marketing strategy for your business. Bring your questions. So this is going to be on the Prime Homes Facebook page. Jonathan, he's the founder, and he does this podcast for the real estate niche. He's an amazing person. It's an amazing company, and also an amazing podcast to listen to, because he's one of those guys that Yusuf had approved him because he's legit. He's not one of those people that trying to take advantage of you. Okay, so I'm gonna post this pretty soon on my Facebook. But let me show you where is he at. Let's see. So there you go. So that's going to be, I believe it's going to be Tuesday. So I'm going to be a guest speaker for his podcast show. So if you have any of your real estate buddies, or if you're into real estate, make sure you attend this live streaming. That's his page, the Prime Homes. Okay. As you can see right there. So guest speakers. So we'll do it next Tuesday. So this is my friend Jonathan. Okay. So don't forget. I'll post it sometime soon. All right. It is 6:29 Central Time right here in San Antonio, Texas. Let me know if y'all have any more questions about digital marketing, about your business, anything you need help with. All right, I'm going to wait for 1 minute, and I'll see what happens. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, folks. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here in San Antonio, Texas. If you watch this as a replay, please tap the word replay. And if you still have any more questions, send them over. DM me those questions. Have a good one and good evening, and bye-bye.